Good morning guys, it's eBird Online and I'm here with my final review for this week from 90 Day Fiancé, and that's Season 7, Episode 7, The Truth Shall Set You Free. And today I'm going to be talking about Mike and Natalie and Emily and Sasha. And before we begin, I just want to give a massive shout out and a big thank you to B. Chavez. B. Chavez alerted me to somebody who's reposting my videos online and sneakily getting views and money for themselves. So thank you so much, B. Chavez, because I've now reported them to YouTube and I'm waiting patiently for the offending videos to be taken down. Honestly guys, my subscribers are the best. Thank you so much. And guys, if you want to join my flock, please just press the red button and subscribe for regular videos and regular content. I have a lovely surprise for you coming in the next couple of days and I know you don't want to miss out. So please make sure you press your bell notification, and every single time I drop a video, bing! You guys get to know about it straight away. And you can follow me on Twitter at mbird99. So first up, we're going to talk about Emily and Sasha. And Emily and Sasha are on the plane with baby Dave and they're on the way to the US of A. Emily tells us, after 6 months of waiting, I'm finally going home with Sasha and baby David. We're meeting my sister and my mom at the airport and I'm so excited to see them. And when they land, her sister and her mom are waiting at the airport and they tell us in not so many words they couldn't give a flying F about seeing Sasha. They just want to get their hands on baby Dave. All I've got to say about that is buckle up ladies. He's going to be quite a handful. And when they disembarked, there was lots of screaming and crying, and I gotta say, even baby Dave, he was really excited to see Granny for the first time. He poked his little tongue out of his mouth and was wiggling it all around and gave a massive smile. I have to say, I'm low-key in love with baby Dave. He's really cute. But Sasha felt like a spare part. But thankfully, Sasha didn't take it to heart. He said, they're all just paying attention to baby David because he's the main man. But it doesn't matter about me. I'm fine. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about me, guys. I'm fine. No attention here, guys. I don't need anything. Do you think I need attention? Oh no, not me. I'm Sasha. Sasha looked devastated that nobody was interested in him. But he's glad about one thing. Finally, Emily's smiling. A couple of days ago, she was stressful and Sasha didn't know what to do. But now, everything's fine. And in the car going home, Sasha tells us, I really believe that America is land of opportunity. Not if you talk like that, it's not, Sasha. I make my career as personal trainer, full-time fuckboy, and fitness model, and part-time gigolo. So I can buy a house and cars and girls. Yup, Sasha seems to have some really big plans. Funnily enough, none of them include baby Dave and our Emily. And Emily tells us, we're staying with my sister until we find out where we're going to be living. And even though it seems as if her mum and her sister don't really like Sasha, he's going to be living with Emily. So his main enemy is going to be boredom. And Emily tells us that Betsy, her sister, is skeptical of Sasha because of his past. But Emily hopes that she gives him a chance. Emily, girls that have given Sasha just half a chance before have ended up pregnant. That's exactly what you don't want. And so next time we see Sasha and Emily, they're at her sister's house and Sasha informs her mum he wants to go to the gym. She said, what, you don't want to go and see the city? You don't want to look around? And he was like, well, we can do both, but I really want to go to the gym. And I think Emily was trying to save him by saying, yeah, I want to go to the gym too. But then Sasha manages to mess even that up because he said, yeah, Emily, I want you to go to the gym as well. I really want you to go to the gym. It's time now. Come on. And Emily's mum's mouth was agape. Oh my God, if looks could kill. What happened next, I still cannot get my head around. So Sasha, the mum, the sister and Emily were sitting in the apartment and they were eating, I think, a breakfast cereal. I'm not quite sure what it was. We have different cereals here, I think, from you. Sasha said, this is a cheat meal, right? And her sister was like, what are you talking about? And he said, well, you told me you just eat healthily. So if you just eat healthily, this must be a cheat meal. So she said, I wanted it to be quick because I didn't want to have to cook anything. I wanted to spend time with you guys. And so Sasha then asked the mum, do you eat this? She said no. And he said, I can see. And he looked her up and down. He undressed her with his eyes. And the truth be told, Mum didn't look unhappy. Then he explained he was going to make oatmeal and fruit for them tomorrow morning. And he said, you'll love it. And then he winked at her sister. And I just think the inner flirt in Sasha comes out naturally. And I think this is his modus operandi. A few moments later, as he was saying bye to Mum, he did the same thing. He winked at her. He's very suggestive with his winking. He's very flirty, and it's quite inappropriate. I know I'm very English about these things, but it just really isn't the done thing. And I'm still in shock. Thank you, subscribers, for alerting me to this, because I watched this episode earlier in the week. Somehow I missed one of the winks. I only saw one. I always knew Sasha was a winker, and this confirms it. So guys, let me know if you think that Sasha's going to end up arguing with the mum and the sister. And I'm thinking about running a book on how many days he makes it with Emily. I reckon not more than 30. I think it's possible to deal with Emily when you're in your own home country. But when you don't know anybody and your main person to talk to is Emily, I just don't see it lasting. And when you've got the wandering winking eye that Sasha has, it's not looking good. Guys, let me know what you think. And last and certainly not least, Mike and Natalie. So we catch up with this couple at Natalie's flat. And Natalie's waking Michael up and telling him today's a special day. And why is it a special day, I hear you ask? And she tells Mike, because today we're going to church. Right, Natalie, I see. We just call that Sunday. But anyway, Natalie tells us she wants to convert Mike to Christianity, and she believes that taking him to church will be just the push he needs. But Mike, on the other hand, reasserts his belief in aliens. And when I first heard Mike talk about the aliens, I thought it sounds like Scientology. Maybe he's a Scientologist. But it turns out it wasn't. Mike's aliens are as yet undefined. But what's his proof of aliens, I hear you ask? Well, Mike tells us there are pyramids created on every continent. I've yet to see the ones on the Arctic, but I'll take Mike's word for it. And Mike believes that the creation of these pyramids are the clearest sign of aliens. Mike, I think you'll find that man made the pyramids. There may or may not be aliens, I have no clue. What I do know is that aliens didn't come down and create the pyramids. So whilst Mike's lying in bed, Natalie decides to have a little play with him, and she's messing around with this little cuddly toy, and she's being quite childish, and Mike's giggling and laughing away. And I'm so glad that today is a day for fun Natalie. I didn't much like evil Natalie that I saw last week. And so they get ready and they head off for church. In the car park downstairs, Natalie waits outside the car. And when Mike goes to get in, Natalie stares at him. And she said, "Are you not going to open the door for me?" And Mike said, "But Natalie, you're driving." And Natalie said, "I expect you to open the door for me." And Mike said, "Alrighty then." And he opens the door and Natalie gets in. And they drive off to church. I got to admit, guys, it's an absolutely beautiful old church. It kind of looks different from our churches. I think it might be Russian Orthodox. I'm really not sure. And then Natalie says, "Mike, I have something to ask." And Mike said, "What's that?" And she said, "When I come to America, will you come to church with me?" And Mike looked very hesitant and he said, "You know, I don't want to overpromise. I'm here to support you, but I don't want to agree to do something that I then don't actually do. And concerning religion and beliefs, I don't judge other people, and I'd really like it if you didn't judge me." "Oh, Mike, she's not going to judge you. Didn't you know that Natalie's judge, jury and executioner? She fixed him with one of her icy stares, and she said, 'I don't trust people not religious.' And she explained that she doesn't trust atheists because they don't follow the rules." "What rules?" "Oh, right, the 10 Commandments. Yeah. And she further explains to Mike, if you're not a Christian, people that are not Christians, they lie, they betray, they cheat. You can't trust them. And I don't want it in my family." And so Natalie's assertion is that if you're not a Christian, you're unable to live a wholesome life. But Natalie, come on, give or take 1 or 2 of the commandments. They're just a blueprint for living a normal, moral life. Everybody knows that you shouldn't kill, commit adultery, steal, lie, lust after their neighbour's wife. Nothing about husbands. Covet thy neighbour's house, or farm, or cattle. To be quite honest, the only one I think that Mike might have a problem with is that you should have no other gods but the Lord. And of course, Mike's got his aliens. He can't give them up. They built the pyramids, don't you know? And guys, I understand that religion is very important to people, but I do think it's ridiculous to assert that people that are not Christians lie, betray and cheat. Mike's not a Christian, and I can't imagine him doing any of those things. The 10 Commandments are common sense for most people. And Mike says quite simply that he just doesn't believe in God. And Natalie says, in my country, we're raised Christian. We understand what is good and what is bad. Do you, Natalie? Do you know that manipulating someone is bad? You should do. And then she says she doesn't want to marry Mike if he doesn't believe in God. And I think Natalie's given herself a bit of a problem here, because it would seem that Natalie feels she can change people. So as we saw earlier in the season, Mike was going for a run with Natalie, and Mike's not a natural runner. As I noted at the time, he looks like someone's cookery geography teacher lolloping along the road. But she thought, I'll do it, I'll make you sporty, Mike. Then with her ex-husband. Apparently he didn't want to have children. And it took her many, many years of trying to talk to him and convince him to have kids. Finally he stood his ground and said no. And Natalie moved bitterly on, having wasted lots and lots of time with no kids to show for it. And now she's hooked up with Mike, and Mike's got his aliens. Natalie thinks aliens out, Christianity in. Natalie, it's not as simple as that. If Mike just doesn't believe in God, he just doesn't believe it. If Mike thinks aliens were at a loose end one night and decided to come over to Egypt, hang around in Cairo and pop a few pyramids up, that's what Mike believes. And it's extremely difficult to change someone's belief system. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that at the end of the video, because I believe this is where Natalie's going to come a cropper. So they leave the church and the following morning they're back at Natalie's flat. She and her mum are in the kitchen and Natalie's crying, and she goes to make Natalie's mum a cup of tea. Michael gets up and says good morning, and Natalie ignores him. Mike then has another go at some small talk, but honestly, if Harvey Weinstein had have gatecrashed the Oscars, he would have been more welcome than Michael was at this breakfast. And Michael says something's off. You don't say. And he said Natalie's very quiet, and she gave him a strange look. Nope, that's just a face. And when he asked Natalie, can I get a cup of tea? She said, no, I think you can do for yourself. Yes, I could, Natalie, but I don't have a dog and piss a between myself now, do I? I really like Mike. Natalie can be so rude. Anyway, her mum's sitting in the corner, and she too has a strange look on her face. And talk very swiftly turns to grandchildren. And her mum's talking to Mike in Russian, and she says, I want 2 or 3. And he said, what are we talking about here? Grandkids. Oh, you want 2 now, do you? And then she's saying, we'll teach them to speak fluent Russian. And Mike looks at Natalie for help because she's speaking in Russian. And Mike says, Natalie, can you translate? And she says, I'm too tired to translate today. Use your Google Translate app. And so Mike said, Natalie, are you not going to help me? And then Natalie stormed back across the kitchen again, wearing her Prozac look. And Natalie tells us, my mother's talking about babies again, and it frustrates me. She's still upset that Michael doesn't want kids. And so at this point, Mike's thinking, what is going on? And he says to Natalie, what's the matter? And Natalie looks at Mike and said, you are very different from my ex-husband. He understands me. You don't understand me. I cannot adapt to you. You're frustrating. And then she said to Mike, when we talk, we can barely understand each other. That's because you and your mother are speaking Russian, and Mike doesn't speak Russian, Natalie. And then she said, how can we raise a child together? Mike's nonplussed. He said, we'll just raise a child like normal. Meanwhile, Natalie's mother's still in the corner, pushing the grandchildren agenda. And she's going, 2 kids, 3 kids. All I want is a boy, I want a grandson. 2 kids, 3 kids. Mike's had enough. Natalie in the other room now. Natalie starts sobbing even more. And that's where the scene ends. There are 2 sides to Natalie. One's evil, and the other one's bloody mental. Most people exhale carbon dioxide. But Natalie, she exhales carbon monoxide. She's poison when she wants to be. So I had to watch this scene twice to try and understand what's all this about. So for my little earbirds, allow me to Google Translate. Remember 3 or 4 weeks ago when Natalie and Mike first came on the scene, Mike excitedly told us, we're opposites, but opposites attract. No, Mike, no they don't. Opposites rarely attract, and that's scientifically proven. Unsurprisingly, psychologists have discovered that we like people with similar attitudes, lifestyles and beliefs. How can we say? Birds of a feather flock together. So Natalie and Mike, she's a go-getter. Mike's super laid back. Natalie's very athletic. She likes to go for a run every single day. Mike, well, how can we say? Let's just say he's languid. Natalie's a healthy eater. She believes you are what you eat. Ergo, Mike's a hamburger. And fries. Natalie's a city dweller. Natalie lives in a smart apartment in the centre of town. And Mike lives on a tree farm in the middle of the countryside. Natalie's a Christian. Mike, he believes in aliens. Natalie's a weirdo. Mike's quite normal. Natalie's a massive drama queen. And Mike, well, he's quite stable. Having a commonality is extremely important in relationship. And there's many differences that can't be negotiated. Things that can't be moved on. You need to align on big things. And I feel that there's a whole plethora of small things that they're opposite on. But the big one, and I think the deal breaker for Natalie, was the Christianity. I think somehow in her mind she thought, aliens, that's some rubbish. Don't worry about that. I'll get you into God and we'll be steady away. Mike's not interested. And Natalie actually said, I feel like I'm saving his soul. Natalie, Mike knows all about God. He learned about him at school. He lives in America, a very Christian country. If Mike's not religious, it's because he's chosen not to be. She can't imagine bringing a child into a relationship and not having that child be a strong Christian. And she thinks maybe the kid's going to follow Mike into alien worship. And that would be more than Natalie could bear. Also, another thing, I feel like Natalie's so-called fun is quite forced. When they mess around, they're very silly together, very childish, putting little teddies in each other's faces and so on. And I think they're somehow trying to create shared amusement in a desperate bid to convince themselves that they're actually compatible. They're not. Natalie's ready for children now. Mike wants to wait. And let's be real, to start off with, I thought he wants to wait, but probably not that long. But the fact that he hasn't said maybe in a year, maybe in a couple of years, tells me he wants to wait maybe several years. And obviously Natalie's 35, fertility isn't finite, and she shouldn't waste her fertile years on someone that she might end up not having kids with, as she's done previously. And I just think that Natalie and Mike are chalk and cheese. For Natalie, Christianity's a deal breaker. But let's not forget, guys, she's yet to see Sequim, where Mike lives. She's also yet to see Beau, Mike's uncle. And it's my contention that Natalie and Mike just don't belong together. She needs a different sort of person. Natalie needs to cease imagining that she can just change somebody's views, change somebody's thought process. I'm ready for kids now. I'm not ready. Oh, I know. If I just go on and on and on about it, maybe they'll be ready. I'm not a Christian. I'm a Christian. I'm not. If I go on and on and on about God, they'll suddenly decide to believe in him. Natalie, things don't work like that. I see you. I absolutely see you. I never really bought it when you first went to the airport and you said, oh, I'm nervous in case Mike doesn't turn up. Natalie, you weren't nervous at all. You knew very well Mike would turn up because you consider yourself to be aesthetically more pleasing than Mike, more educated than Mike, and somehow a better catch than Mike. I've seen the supercilious looks on your face as you do your so-called modelling poses. And so you'd have us believe that you're nervous about seeing Mike. You're not at all. You had it in your mind that you could manipulate Mike into being a Christian, into being athletic, into eating healthily. But as nice a guy as Mike is, he's very strong-willed. And whilst he's respectful of your wishes, he's not going to change for anybody. And Natalie's breakdown, I think, was finally the penny dropping. You can't get what you want. And guys, mark my words, this is the beginning of the end of Natalie and Mike. Let me know what you think in comments down below. You know I love to hear your thoughts. Do you think I'm right? Do you think that Natalie thought she could manipulate Mike and now Mike stood firm? She wants out. Please let me know in comments down below. Guys, please don't forget to press that red subscribe button. I'm nearing my 17,000 and I'd love to get there before the end of the year. Also follow me on Twitter at mbird99 and don't forget to like and share the video. You've been listening to eBird Online. Ciao for now.